Hey there, pedal people. It's Pedal Guy here. How you doing? Today what we're going to do is we're going to check out a brand new feature that was introduced with the latest firmware for the HeadRush Pedalboard and Gigboard. But before we get started, please take a second and click on that subscribe button and ring the bell so you can stay up to date with all of our videos on our YouTube channel. And if you're watching this on Facebook or Instagram, be sure to like and follow us so you can stay up to date with all of our activities. A new feature that was introduced with this firmware is the ability to call up different presets within a scene. And that's a really powerful feature because as you move from scene to scene to scene throughout the HeadRush, you can actually have the same modules in those scenes, but you can have completely different presets on each one of them, and that's really hot. So let's do a quick tour of what's in our rig here. We are using an anxiety overdrive, which was introduced with the new version of the firmware. We have a Fender amp, we have a Vox amp, we have a tape echo, and we have an air reverb. Now, it's a very simple and straightforward rig. We didn't want to get too complicated here because it's important that you understand the concept first before we start getting too out there. But this is a feature that you can absolutely do some serious damage with as you start working with it. Okay, the first things first, we're going to go ahead and get into the hardware assign. So go to the triple dots up there in the right corner, go to hardware assign, and there we go. So let's zoom in and let's take a look at what we're looking at here. Now, this isn't anything you haven't seen before. Each one of the modules within a rig gives you the ability to toggle, to hold, to go to a scene, or to just toggle so it turns off and on at will. I'm going to keep these three the way they are because there's nothing we need to do there. What I'm going to do though is go to Fender 1 and I'm going to hit that edit button. And now we have our scene here for the Fender 1 scene. Now, a lot of this you've seen before. You can change the color of the scene if you want to. Anything that you've seen before is applicable here. But what you now have, if you look here in the lower right corner with the air reverb, is we now have the ability to change the preset. So the preset can be something completely different from scene to scene on that same effect. So scene 1 could have a studio reverb, and then scene 2 could have a room reverb. And that's just an exceptionally powerful feature because that means that you're not shackled by the chains of just sticking with that one effect and that one preset. You can switch presets throughout all the scenes here. And to give you an example of what that means, let's go to the second scene where we have the air reverb turned on again, but in this case here we're using a hall reverb. So if I go back and I go if I go to the first one, you can see that we're using an air reverb with a studio preset. So that's what I mean, is that you can go from a different type of preset per scene. So for example, if I go ahead and just turn on the guitar, okay, so we're in Fender 1 right now. Now we can move to Fender 2. Right? That's like really cool. You know, that's awesome. You know, who would have thought you could do that, right? That's just, it makes the creativity just flow. And what I've also done here is I have set it up so the anxiety does not turn on between the two scenes unless I want to. So I can turn on the anxiety, and it's going to turn off when I switch to Fender 2. Now, one thing you'll also notice is that in scene 2 here, we have the tape echo turned on as well with a doubling effect. So it really does give you a different sound. All right, at this point, let's take a look at Vox 1 and Vox 2 so you can see what's going on here with these scenes. Let's go into the editor. Now, a couple things you may notice right off the bat, Amp 1 and Cab 1 are both turned off. Amp 2 and Cab 2 are both turned on. The tape echo is turned off, and the air reverb is turned on with the studio preset again. Additionally, in the upper left corner, we have the anxiety is turned off, but we have the smooth preset turned on. Now that's different from where we were here with the Fender, where we had the full drive turned on the Fender scenes here. So as we move into Vox 2, what's different here is that 1, we've turned off the reverb. 2, we've turned the tape echo on with the feeding frenzy preset turned on. Additionally, we have the anxiety of overdrive set to no change with the smooth preset still. Now, you're probably asking, why do we do that? Well, what happens is, as we move from Vox 1 to Vox 2, if I want that overdrive to stay on between the two scenes, that's why we would select no change. So if we zoom back out, let's bring the player camera in. Hey there, how you doing? Let's bring that guitar in. Okay, so we'll go from Fender 1 to Fender 2. Now let's go to the Vox 1. And now we're going to move to Vox 2. And now as a little treat, let's go back to Fender 1. And if you're wondering how I did that, well, it's quite simple. We just turned on the tails on the tape echo. So if you go over here and you select tails on, then it will stay on as you go through the different scenes. So another really cool feature to take advantage of. But let's get back to what I was talking about before, why we kept the anxiety set as we did with Vox 1 and Vox 2. Okay, so if we go to Vox 1 and let's select, let's just turn on the anxiety. What happened there is that the anxiety stayed on the entire time as I went from scene 1 to scene 2, and what that allowed me to do was use the anxiety into the tape echo with that feeding frenzy preset to give it a little more grit, if you will. So as a quick reminder here, we've set up the Fender 1 and Fender 2 on the bottom row, and we've set up Vox 1 and Vox 2 on the bottom row. But you can have 8 scenes per song if you want to. And that gives you discrete control throughout the entire process here. So what I'll do here is let's just go ahead and go back out. Let's kill the mic and let's just go through it so you can really hear it in a nice high quality as far as what's going on here, okay? And that's the new scene feature built into the brand new firmware on the HeadRush Pedalboard. So for more information on this and the other products that we carry, please visit us at ThePedalGuy.com. Also be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure you ring that bell so you stay up to date with all of our videos. Thanks and have a great day.